Clemson Tigers. Of course, you can't go around saying go Tigers. A guy on the airplane last night said to me, I'm in Florida this week for a couple of days, and got on the plane last night, and a guy walked by me and said, "How, Mike? Go Tigers." And I said, "Which ones?" And he laughed. He said, "True, Clemson." He said, "You're from the upstate?" I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am." Big profile in the New York Times over the weekend of Dabo Sweeney, the Clemson coach. I don't think I fully appreciated his whole story. And, I mean, this guy was plucked from obscurity. He was just a hardworking guy, never had been a head coach, was not even a coordinator when he got thrust into the head coaching position at Clemson a number of years ago. And everybody was like, who's this guy? What's a Dabo? Now he is only the highest paid coach in college football. 10-year, $92 million deal. And just by all accounts, a really terrific guy. The players love him. He's spiritual. Every time I see him interviewed, he gives glory to God and thanks to God for the skills that his team has, for his talents. And his talents evidently are wide and far and deep from recruiting. The article talks about him going to a family, a big Clemson booster, and because Coach Sweeney had a vision that the one thing Clemson was lacking was a beautiful big training facility that would be part, playhouse and office suites and, of course, training facility. And I guess they've got something now that is, I got to see it. Someday I go to Death Valley and maybe I can get a tour. But it is apparently just a beautiful thing. But he went and just knocked on doors and got people to donate millions and millions of dollars. He's a prolific fundraiser. He's a great recruiter. He's a spiritual guy. He's fun. He's not wonkish. He's he's fun to watch. And the Clemson Tigers are a lot of fun to watch too. So we'll see tonight. Hopefully I'm going to be in a good mood tomorrow, and we will have a Clemson Tiger National Championship. I don't think I ever appreciated the way the New York Times characterizes this. We don't talk a lot of sports on this show. I know there are some shows that get obsessed with their teams that they like and everything, and it's not my thing. But so I don't want to bore you with this but I would like to take maybe 2 minutes I bet we got a lot of Clemson Tiger fans who listen to the show because of our home on 94.5 The Answer in the Upstate. The New York Times profile on Dabo suggested that Clemson had never really had a solid national program of athletics or academics until the last few years. And I was thinking about the national championship in 1981, and they quote Danny Ford as saying that it was kind of a one-off, that Clemson was never really regarded as a national power until the last few years under Dabo Sweeney. Is that true? Is that a fair characterization of Clemson? Because it's been kind of I was sort of part of the program in a peripheral way. Years ago, I was one of the hosts of the Tiger Tailgate Show, which was a blast. I mean, a couple of years I traveled along with the team, and we did the big tailgate show on the great hill at Little John Coliseum, and I had the time of my life doing that. In fact, had I not been released from my duties with Clemson, I'd still probably be a local host in Greenville, South Carolina. So funny the way life works. I was doing the basketball announcing. I was the PA announcer for the basketball team the last year or so that I was there. So got pretty immersed in Clemson athletics. Is it fair to say that, I mean, Lance and Eric, you come over here for a minute. Eric's a football fan. That part surprised me in this New York Times article about the Tigers not really having a nationally solid academic or athletics reputation, but for the last few years. Do you think that's right?
I always thought that they were a really good team, but they were never like Alabama or UCLA when I was growing up, UCLA or USC.
Right.
But I mean, listen, I went to Fordham, and if you want to talk about the opposite of a national power in football,
Correct.
So
That would be
it. I mean, they were always a very good program. I just don't think that they were quite at this level where you expect them to maybe win championships every other year.
I got to find that. Can somebody send me that article from I think it was the Saturday New York Times? And I'm real interested in a diehard Clemson fan's response to the assertion that Clemson didn't really have a credible, nationally recognizable athletics program until the last decade. And I just kept thinking of the 1981 national championship, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But maybe that's an unfair characterization. Maybe that's spot on. I don't know. 1-800-655-MIKE if you're a Tigers fan, a Clemson Tigers fan here in the ReliefFactor.com studios. Maybe you can give me your reaction to that take. But it's for the New York Times, and of course the sports section is a whole different thing from the fake news of the New York Times. But I think the sports section is very credible and very powerful in the New York Times. And I was pleased to see that profile of Dabo in the paper. We'll post it at MikeOnline.com. Chances are you missed it. But I'm curious if I've always thought of Clemson being kind of a national powerhouse for many, many years. But the way the article kind of placed it, just in the last 8 to 10 years has that been the case.